All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for making time to hop on so quickly onto the call. Can you guys all hear me fine? Perfect. Okay. Thanks for making time to hop onto the call. I cannot explain with words how excited I am to share this with you guys and to have Tammy in particular explaining this to you guys. I've been kind of sharing all the parts of my journey for the past few years, and over the past year, this has been one of the biggest parts of my life transformation. And I've just kind of shared that every 6 or 8 weeks, I go away and I work on myself, and that it's really had an impact. But beyond that, I haven't really shared a ton. And so Tammy is just an incredible woman. I met her at one of these weekends where I went away to work on myself, and she is passionate and driven and kind and compassionate. She's highly respected in this community, and she really, she knows her stuff. She is going to be able to explain it to you far better than I ever could. And so that's why I really wanted to have her come and explain what this weekend is. And we are very, very, very blessed and lucky that she was able to find time to talk with us because she's incredibly busy. So we're not going to take long on the call tonight, but I figured to get the point across to you guys, we'd have Tammy explain everything. So go ahead and take it away, Tammy. Oh, you're still muted. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can. It doesn't say that you're muted. Okay, let me unmute all. That seems to be, there we go. And then can you say something now?
Checking one,
okay,
two.
Perfect. So go ahead, and then I'll just manually mute everybody else.
There we go. Okay, so I want to say thank you so much to, number one, Sophie, for taking the time to put this call together. It speaks volumes about you as a leader, for the fact that you want to continue pouring into yourself and into your team. It talks about your commitment and your dedication to wanting to be the best that you can be, to be able to better serve others and help others raise up in their leadership. So I want to say thank you first and foremost to you, that you would take time out of your day, especially on vacation, to do that. That speaks volumes. So thank you for that. Thank you for being that kind of leader that really just doesn't do what others do. You kind of look at what everyone's doing and you're saying, okay, I want to make a bigger difference. I want to really invest. So thank you so much for investing in your people in the way that you do. We call that servant style leadership, and that's really, really awesome. So for anyone here who is privileged enough to be in a team or a partnership with Sophie in the business, I strongly recommend you pay very, very close attention to directions that she gives. If you're lucky enough to do presentations with her, you're lucky enough to be trained by her, take serious notes, because this is the kind of leader that you want to be working with, someone who's able to pour into their people, to be able to it's not about lining her pockets with money, it's about being able to really make a change and a difference in other people's lives. And you've got that in Sophie. So please make sure you take full advantage of that, because she is a wealth of knowledge, and she is going places. And the other thing I want to say is Beachbody. Wow. Amazing, amazing opportunity. So I don't know who is or is not in Beachbody on this call, but if you're not, you cray. They are I love Beachbody. I love the workouts. I love the workout on demand. I'm addicted to Autumn. I admit it. I love Autumn, and I love, who's the other guy? Short brown hair, nutcase, barks on his workouts. Tony
Horton. Yeah.
Thank you. I can remember his last name. Yeah, he's a nut. I love it. But yeah, Beachbody is really on the cutting edge of what they do in the fitness industry. They take the time to research and cultivate the top formulas for their products and their shakes. They are on the cutting edge with being able to offer the technology. There's no other opportunity out there that does the workout on demand that I've seen to the ability and the extent of what Beachbody does. So I'm hooked. I know that. So you are definitely in the right place. We have so many people who have plugged in from Beachbody who are making 6 and 7 figures easy. So you are in the right place if you are looking to position your life to be able to maybe do this opportunity full-time or be able to supplement your income. I apologize for the distractions. I'm right by the window. I'm going to see if I can adjust that real quick. There we go. Oh, there we go. That's so much better. Now I won't be distracted by the birds outside. Okay. So A little bit about me. You don't know who I am other than what Sophie told you. So my story, prior to doing any kind of self-improvement, anything about that, I was a mess. I was one hot mess. I was depressed. I went through bouts of suicide. I had broken relationships, couldn't stand my father or my sisters. I hated people. If someone were to approach me in the grocery store, I'd be like, what do you want? Why are you talking to me? You're going to hit me up for money, or you're going to try and borrow something from me. No, don't talk to me. I really just didn't like people at all. I was under a mountain of debt. I don't know if those of you who remember the old cartoons where they would show the bird in the bird cage, two sizes too small, and you'd see parts of the bird kind of sticking out between the cage. That was me, under all this debt, just really confined and restrained. I was in an unhealthy relationship. I was having feelings of being unworthy. I just struggled with a lot of depression and anxiety when it came to dealing with people. I would just much rather talk to the wall than talk to people. I could trust the wall, couldn't trust people. So that's just kind of a little bit about me and where I came from. Fast forward after saying, hey, you know what, maybe something's got to change. I don't know how long I can last in my job. Prior to that, I was doing collections. So you can imagine the poor people on the other line. Number one, you're talking to a collector. Number two, you're talking to a collector who hates people. So yeah, it wasn't a good mix. So I decided at that point, okay, how much more of this can I take? Something's got to change. So I decided to do a little bit of self growth and looking within myself and seeing what I could do to correct a situation. So I had plugged into some amazing content, and in that content, I found a strategy of getting out of debt based on what I currently made, not based on getting 3 or 4 or 5 more jobs in addition to my full-time job and my part-time job and my this and my that. So it was based on what I was currently making. I ended up paying off $457,500 in 10 months. You're asking how? I'm on the opposite end of asking, how could I get in that much debt? How could I be that crazy? So I learned these skills, and if I can learn it, anybody can learn it. So I had ended up paying off that debt. I learned not only to like myself as a person, but I'd stopped having thoughts of suicide. I stopped having bouts of depression and feelings of unworthiness. I was able to correct that unhealthy relationship I was in. I ended it very shortly after starting to learn about this information. And I can now say, because of this training, I learned about personalities, I learned about relationships, and I learned what a healthy marriage looks like. So I opened myself up to being able to be married. Prior to that, I never would have seen myself married. I can say now that I'm married successfully for 19 days. I just got married on April 8th. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, yeah, and he's amazing. It's an honoring relationship. We both honor each other. It's been based out of trust and vulnerability. So he knows everything about me, and I know everything about him. And it is 100% because of this training. Prior to this training, I would have never, ever gotten married. All I saw around me were broken relationships, several divorces from my father's side, divorces from 2 of my best friends who were going through some serious stuff. So because of this training, I'm happily married. With my relationships with my father and my sisters, those ended up getting fixed to the point where my father was the one who tipped me off that my husband was going to propose to me. He actually called me up going, Tammy, I just got a call. This is back in December. No. It was October of last year. So he calls me. He goes, Tammy, I know we don't talk that much, but I'm going to tell you right now. I just got a call from your boyfriend, and he wants to meet me for coffee. Is he going to ask me what I think he's going to ask me? And I was like, oh, boy. And my dad's like, I just need to know, do you love the guy? Should I give him my blessing? And it was just awesome because, it speaks volumes from going from a place where my dad and I were constantly like this. We couldn't stand each other. It was like he was talking one language and I was talking another, had no idea why, until I started looking at this course of self-improvement and investing in myself and these skills that I was lacking seriously, that turned that relationship around to a point where he called me saying, hey, I got someone who's, this guy might propose, how do you feel about him? So he was kind of warning me in a loving way. My relationship with my sisters has blossomed. We are now, we talk at least a minimum of twice a week. I live in Texas. I live in Arizona. since applying the skills and strategies that I've learned, I was able to, in my collection job, back when I did that, I ended up getting promoted 2 times in a 4-month period in an industry that doesn't really give promotions. I ended up creating more commissions for myself based on how I was able to connect and speak with people from a point of honor versus a point of manipulation. And I was able to really understand what it means to honor versus what it means to manipulate, because you can manipulate someone without knowing you are, and you can also honor them in a very direct way that really lifts them up. So those are some of the skills and strategies that I learned. What else? Oh gosh, my whole life has changed. So the number one reason why so many people struggle, whether it's business, whether it's feelings of unworthiness, whether it's just anything in general, is just lack of skill or poor training. So I like to use the analogy, I don't know if anyone else paints, but you remember Bob Ross, right? The painter with the happy trees. So picture, if you will, someone telling you, okay, I want you to paint a picture for me. And you've never painted, and they tell you to paint a tree, but you don't know what kind of tree they want. They didn't tell you. You don't know how to paint a tree to begin with. So you might come out, and if they give you kind of like a printed step-by-step, you might paint a stick figure, or you might paint an elephant. You don't know. So imagine now Bob Ross being right by you, walking you through, saying, okay, now here we're going to pick the color green, and we're going to do a happy tree right over here and paint it right here. So you can imagine how following directions, you may or may not get it if it's just printed out for you, but having someone who has results in teaching many other students right by your side, being able to take you and walk you through what they know, walk you through what their past experiences have been, so that you can come out with that amazing picture in this scenario. Or taking that same scenario and taking that professional in business and having them walk you through hand in hand how to grow your Beachbody business. Or having that same professional who has specialized in helping people get out of debt. We've had so many clients who have gotten out of debt, myself included. Oh my gosh, we have a whole list. There was Jan and Linda Potgieter from the UK. We have a lot of people who come internationally to the improvement seminars that we do. And Lynn and Jan are 2 of my favorites. They paid off $260,000 in a 2.5-year period. They at one point had no vision for their marriage. They were about ready to be divorced. They were constantly arguing with each other, couldn't understand why. Well, they started plugging in and applying this training. So again, they paid off $260,000. They became completely debt-free as of May 14th last year. So it took them 2.5 years. They now have an amazing relationship. Their marriage has been fully restored. They have 2 amazing kids who are honoring and supportive and respectful. They ended up launching 2 different businesses. He launched an amazing business that teaches negotiation for businesses, and she launched a business in fashion and design for women, how to dress to feel successful based on your body type and your personality. And so what the training did for them was not only restore their marriage, help them get out of debt, but help them to see a vision for what they wanted to do versus what society told them they should be doing. Another amazing example is Jane Mock. Jane Mock has a daughter by the name of Sarah. Jane and Sarah were constantly butting heads. Jane's a homeschooling mom, so Sarah was 2 years behind in her high school part of her schooling. And so Jane was just beside herself. She said, you know what, I'm going to try this training. I don't know if it's going to work. All I know is there's a 100% money back guarantee if I'm not satisfied. So she came to a training. She started applying what she learned in her relationship with her daughter, Sarah. So not only was she able to restore that relationship, but she was able to make such an impact where Sarah was able to get completely caught up in her schooling and graduate 6 months ahead of schedule. So she went from 2 years from being behind to 6 months ahead of schedule, graduating early. Brianna Nikolic is another amazing example. She has a home-based business, and she took the Monday training that focuses specifically for direct sales and like Beachbody and so many other home-based businesses out there, where Danny gives a recipe of how she was completely broke, $2.03 to her name, and became a millionaire in a 2-year time frame. And so she gives you that recipe. She walks you hand in hand on how to paint the trees or grow the business, get out of debt. But the Monday training focuses specifically on growing the business. So Brianna took that training, applied it. Within 5 days, she made a $5,000 profit in a home-based business. We've had Heather Lalone, who was struggling in her business. She walked away with 400% improvement in her profits. So she ended up increasing her profits by 400%. We've had kids come through the training. As a matter of fact, we had a kid who, a sister and a brother, Deke and Hope, and they're 8 and 12 now, 8 and 12. So they came through and they said, they sat through the training just like the rest of the adults do. And at the end, they approached their mom and they were like, Mom, we want to make some money. We want to, we want to be able to, pay for stuff. We want to do stuff. So their mom was like, okay, well, I got a truffle making recipe. If you guys want to give that a try, we'll try that. So these two kids, 8 and 12, at the time, he was 11 actually, so 8 and 11 at that time, they plugged in, they applied this training, and they were in 11 months able to make $41,545 working part-time in a home-based truffle making business. They don't even drive. These kids don't drive, and they're going to school part-time. So if these two kids with no college degree or any kind of high school degree can do it, how much more so then can you and I do it? So I mean, gosh, I could give you example after example, but Danny's amazing. She comes from a background of abuse. She comes from a drug-infested home. She's been abused mentally and physically, and she was able to overcome that. And so she's created such a platform to be able to help other people who are struggling, help other people who are feeling unworthy, who have been beaten down, beaten up, used and abused, to be able to really overcome. And we believe here that everyone has a calling on their life. Many are called, few are chosen. So we believe that people can make a huge difference, one person at a time. One of our goals is helping 100 million lives be impacted by the training and be impacted by who they talk to. Every person trained is a life changed, and definitely legacies have a chance to be changed because of the training. I know when I'm ready to have kids, they're not going to enter a world with debt because I'm debt free and because my husband's debt free. So weird saying husband, sorry. I'm getting used to it still. But yeah, it's funny. People will call in and be like, hey, is Tammy Zappa there? I'm like, oh, that's me. Wait, no, my new name is Price. So still getting used to it, so I apologize. But that's just a little bit about that. I don't want to keep y'all on the phone longer. I know Sophie's got some surfing and beaching to do, and everyone else, I know you took time out of your day to be on this call, and we so appreciate it. For those who are going to catch a replay, if there's a replay later, thank you so much, just really for taking the time to even listen to an opportunity. If this has a chance to help someone save a life, to turn a mindset around that's been keeping you trapped and locked into a comfort zone where it's really not comfortable. You're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying inside. You're not pushing yourself to the fullest potential that you can be. Even if that push is just one more step at a time. What can I do today to better myself? How can I get out of a negative thought pattern? How can I grow my relationship with God if that's what you're into? So many people have plugged into training and have had different results. We've had Mary Howard, who is Beachbody, and she's lost 100+ pounds by learning the mindsets of Beachbody, but also plugging into training that reconditioned her brain for success versus that negative tape that always said, why are you trying? You're fat. Why are you jogging? Stop jogging. And, like so many of us can relate to just beating ourselves down. Who needs enemies when you have voices like that, right? So I encourage you all. Right now, I know they're doing a promo where you can get additional training included, online access to training. So I'm going to type in the little thingy here. Let's see if I can do this while I'm talking to you, talk and type at the same time. So there's a link that I'm typing in here for those who are not able to see it. It's smarternetworker.com/kickstart. You can go to that link and you can sign up, available up until 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And when you do that, you're going to get additional training that will help you with prospecting and closing. And this is an incredible training that has taught people like Jackie O'Quinn, who is struggling in his home-based business with talking to people, how to raise his business from struggling and faltering to a $250,000 business that he has today. He works between 25 to 35 hours a week in his home-based business. It's the sole source of income as far as working a home-based business goes, and he's completely debt-free. So this is a training that has helped him raise up a skill as far as prospecting, finding people to talk to, and closing them, whether it mean closing them as new people, product users using the shakes and whatnot for Beachbody, or becoming fellow coaches on a team. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Sophie, I don't know if I asked you this before or not, but is it okay if we end the call in a prayer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My people,
okay, cool.
If they're not believers, everybody openly knows that I am. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. So Father God, thank you so much for the way you provide. Thank you so much for your heart to really help people. Thank you so much that you are the ultimate provider for us, and everything from food to the birds singing songs for us to enjoy. Thank you so much that you put a calling in each and every one of us, and that calling is as unique and different as we are as individuals that you've created us to be. I just ask in your Son's mighty name, Jesus, that you would bless everybody abundantly on this call. Please bless Sophie for her leadership and her servant style heart. I just ask you to bless her business. I ask you to bless the work of her hands. I ask you to bless her in the goals that she set forth for herself, as well as her team. I ask you to help her multiply her business beyond her wildest dreams, multiply it like you did Abraham and the nation of Abraham. I ask you to bless her family. I ask you to bless her connections with people. I ask you to just bless her in a way that you know that when she talks to people, she truly sees to want to connect with them on a heart-to-heart level. And I just ask you to call that out of her and just help her with that connection, bring that even deeper, that people know that when she's talking to them, it's not just to get something out of them, it's for a true connection. I ask you to bless everybody on this call in their relationships. I ask that if anyone is struggling with depression or suicide, you have a higher calling for them. You didn't create them to give up. You didn't create them to struggle. And I just ask right now in your Son's name that you would come alongside them, that they know they are here for a greater purpose. For all the women on the call, that you are all daughters of the Most High God, who loves you exactly as He created you. Every fault in you is not a fault that He would call a fault. It's a chance for you to learn and grow. And every strength in you, He just calls, and we ask that strength be multiplied. I just ask in Jesus' name that your relationships be blessed, that if you're struggling, you get words of knowledge and wisdom and discernment from God that would walk you through those challenging times, that you would be able to be successful in your marriages and with your relationship with your kids and your friends and your family and your businesses. I ask that God impart unto you knowledge and put the right people in your life, like Sophie, to be able to help you with the business, to be able to help you with those mindsets, to push past those barriers that you've set for yourself, knowingly or unknowingly. I ask that you would be blessed and driven on your focus and where you're going in your direction in life. I ask that God put you on the path to walk straight forward, not veering off to the left or the right. I ask that God shut the doors that He does not want you walking through and open the door that He wants you walking through. I ask in Jesus' name that if you are meant to be at this training that's taking place in Cleveland in July, that you'll be there, that will come with ease, that you'll have peace when you make that decision. And I also ask, if you're not meant to be there, that answer be made super clear. There's no right or wrong. There just is what you choose to do. And I say thank you so much, and just asking blessing for everybody who is on this call, whether it's the live call or the replay, that you would bless everybody who has heard and listened to this call and has watched it. And I just ask you to make a way for them where there is no way, where they see hopelessness and stuck. I ask you to give them different lenses so that they can see what you want them to see. I ask you to give them ears to hear what you want them to hear. And I ask and pray Jeremiah 1:7 over everybody on this call, which is that you would give them a message to a people that they are to talk to, whether it's one-on-one, being able to lift someone who doesn't think they can lose that weight, to be able to speak words of life and encouragement, to be able to edify each other in a loving, supportive way, and to know that the Creator is always there when you are feeling lost and alone, because the truth is that we are never lost and alone. In Jesus' mighty name we pray and we give thanks. Amen.
Amen. Oh my goodness, Tammy, you're amazing. Thank you so much for taking this time to talk to us and explain all of this. I think you mentioned before that if people have questions beyond what you shared, that they can call you if you want to get it the extra material before it's cut off tomorrow. Tammy's
Yes.
more than happy to talk with you guys, and I'm obviously happy to talk with you as well, and just share my experience with this event. But I'm buying my my ticket for the event tonight. So, and like I said, if you're from the Cincinnati region, the Ohio area, there's a group of us that are going to be carpooling together and getting hotel rooms together to really split those costs and whatnot. So please link up with me. But of course, Tammy's the most helpful resource to tap into, so I can get you her contact information if you need. And then I can give you also that link if you're not able to copy and paste the smarternetworker.com/kickstart link. I can get that to you. So we won't hold you any longer. Thanks for taking the time to hop on. And anything else, Tammy? Are you good? Okay, her number's there in the chat box.
Yep.
And
yeah. So thank you again.
Absolutely. And I can get those if you aren't able to copy and paste that, or see if you're calling in and you can't see the numbers, just let me know. I'll get you her number or the link if you need it. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your night. Thanks so much again, Tammy.
Definitely. Have a great night, everyone.